Evening, guys. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream with yours truly, Alan Scouser. So as per usual, it's going to be another general Let's Talk Horror live stream. So if you want to broach any subject at all about the wonderful world of horror, horror actors, horror movies, horror books, anything horror, generally, just fire your comments at me, anything you'd like to ask me, any questions and that, so so I'm looking forward to it tonight again, guys. So I'm going to be on till 10 o'clock as usual. So anyway, I hope you've all had a good week, and you've managed to see some good movies. I've watched a pretty mixed bag this week, so I'll talk a little bit more about them as the night goes on. So we're just going to see who's in the room now, guys. So good to be back again on Thursday nights. And we've got the first one I'm going to is Edward. You okay, Edward, mate? Thanks for stopping by. Evening, Alan. Evening, Edward. Hope you're well. Have you heard Guillermo del Toro is building his own monster universe like Frankenstein and more? I've heard whisperings that he's going to try and revive the Universal monster franchise. Just here and there, and that, nothing really solid at the moment. So, I mean, obviously, if he does have a go at rebuilding the, remaking the classics, I hope he does a good job of them, because, there's been a terrible lot of remakes. It goes without saying, guys, doesn't it? There's been a terrible lot of remakes. Have been absolute tosh, So, the Universal monsters, my favorite monsters, and I'll be watching with a very, very critical eye indeed, because they were the movies I grew up with. They're the movies. The Universal movies are the movies that made me a horror fan. So so I'll be watching with a very, very critical eye if he does decide to remake, Frankenstein, Dracula and the Wolfman. So we'll just basically see how it goes anyway. Oh yeah, guys. Before I go on, I'd just like, as usual, if you have any problems at all with either the audio or the visuals, let me know. Because I don't want to be rambling on, and you can hardly hear what I'm saying, or see me and that. So any problems at all, just let me know and I'll rectify it. Yeah. Okay. Kevin's here. Hey, hi, Alan and everyone. Hope you're all well. You okay, Kev? Thanks for stopping by, mate. Yeah, always nice to see you. Gina's here. Hi, Alan and everyone. You okay, Gina? Thanks for stopping by. Always nice to see you. Am I dead? Yes. Hey, Alan and everybody. You okay? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, always nice to have you along, the Thursday night stream. Fazbear Brothers too. Hi, Alan and all. You okay, Fazbear? Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you again. Hope you've had a good week, and hope you've watched some good movies. Brian's here. Hi, Alan and everyone. You okay, Brian, mate? Thanks for stopping by. Always great to see you. Hope you've been seeing some good movies this week as well. Right. Amy, have you seen the trailer for The Exorcist Believer? Yeah. My cousin sent it to me the other day. I don't really know what to think at the moment. It's because it's basically just a montage of different cuts from the upcoming movie. Shows you Ellen Burstyn. Obviously she's much older now, and I believe Linda Blair's coming back as well, to reprise her performance as Reagan. But I was never really a huge fan of The Exorcist. It's a very uncomfortable movie to watch, if I'm being totally honest. So I'm not really. It's not in my top 10 horror movies of all time. So it remains to be seen how it goes. I mean, David Gordon Green's doing a trilogy, isn't he? The guy that done the Halloween Halloween trilogy. So we'll just see how it goes. Amy saying, I saw Oppenheimer this week along with Nicolas Cage. Thriller, Sympathy for the Devil. I don't think Oppenheimer will be for me, Amy. I just watched the trailer before on YouTube, and I thought to myself, if I went to see this on a cinema, I'd be walking out within 5 minutes, if that. Not my type of movie. Nicolas Cage, Sympathy for the Devil. I haven't seen anything about that. While we're on the subject of Nicolas Cage, you probably know, guys, you've been watching me reviews. I did not like that Renfield. Oh boy, did I hate that movie. I won't go on too much about it, but it was I didn't like the excessive injections of comedy, and I didn't like where he went with the story, and I didn't like all that crazy kung fu fighting and that, you know. All you needed was bloody Carl Douglas singing, everybody was kung fu fighting, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't say I like it. Now, Christopher Lee's my #1 Dracula. You know, I don't think anybody's come up to him. You know, when I want to watch a Dracula film, I go right to the Christopher Lee collection and I watch them. I watch them over and over and over, and I always have a blast watching Christopher Lee, you know, as Dracula. I think he personified perfectly the Prince of Darkness. You know, I don't think anybody can come up to him. I used to have one of my friends at school. He used to be absolutely mad, really mad. You think I'm mad on Christopher Lee as Dracula? One of my mates at school, he talked about nothing else but Christopher Lee Dracula. You know, oh yeah, did you see Chase of Blood Dracula last night? Did you see Dracula's just in front of the grave last night? So yes, oh God, if you weren't a Christopher Lee Dracula fan, he would certainly, you know, recruit you to his mindset of you know, being absolutely mad on Christopher Lee's Dracula. But yeah, I didn't like that Renfield at all. No, huge disappointment. Mind you, I did go into it not really holding me, you know, building much hope up about it. Like, you know, just basically went to it with me expectations low. So I wasn't disappointed. Yeah, so yeah, I won't be adding that one to my collection. Chestnut Step 7 is saying, good evening, Alan and everyone. You okay? Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you. Brian's saying audio and video are good. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, that's good to know. Because StreamYard is very, very unpredictable. You know, it really is. You know, you think you're all right, next minute it can sort of like it basically sort of like malfunction when you least expect it. You know, sometimes at the start of the stream, it has this terrible intermittent tendency to sort of go on the blink. You know, so you just got to be on. You know, you've got to be on your toes with StreamYard. Amy's saying Sympathy for the Devil, starring Nicolas Cage as the passenger and Joel Kinnaman as the driver. It's basically a horror version of Michael Mann's Collateral, but with crazy Nicolas Cage. It's very enjoyable. Oh, right. Oh, well, yeah. I'm not really a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. I mean, I know a lot of people do like him, but I'm not really. He's not in the top 10 list of actors and that. But I do know he's very popular with a lot of people. Kevin says, I watched The Mummy starring Tom Cruise, which I like better than the 90s mummy films. I haven't seen those, Kev, so I can't really comment. Larry Fleetwood says, hello, horror guys. You okay, Larry, mate? Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you. Has there ever been a Giallo live stream? Do you know what? I'm trying to think back now. I'm sure I've done a Giallo live stream. You know, when I used to do my theme nights, I'm pretty sure I've done a Giallo. If you look back over my live streams, you might see one. I'm sure I've done a Giallo live stream. Amy's saying the second in the trilogy, The Exorcist, Deceiver, is in cinemas April the 18th, 2025. All right, yeah. And as I say, like, I'm not really building up high expectations of it, like, and I'm not really a fan of Exorcist anyway, so take it or leave it. Kevin, I'm with you on The Exorcist, classic film, but a hard watch, yeah, especially in 1973 when you're in the cinema. Oh God, the sensation that movie caused. And you know, the book's even more terrifying than the movie. I've read the book, my mum's read the book, and she does quite a bit more in the book than she does in the movie, and that, you know, the language in particular is pretty foul and that, yeah. But yeah, just the whole idea of a young girl getting possessed by Satan, that's just terrifying, isn't it? You know, just an innocent little girl, like American Girl and that, you know, and playing around with the Ouija board and that, and this days with the consequences, yeah. So that's another thing that creeps me out about it. There's a lot of truth in it, messing around with the Ouija board and that. So yeah, so there you go. Amy, I enjoyed Oppenheimer. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Amy. Yeah, as I say, it's not really, don't think it'll really be for me, but I'm glad you enjoyed it anyway. A lot of people have. So yeah, Barbie and Oppenheimer, they've actually smashed the box office records, haven't they, by all accounts? You know, they've made loads of money, you know. So I had a look at the trailer for Barbie before. I don't really fancy that either. I think it's more of like a teenage girls movie and that, you know, all pink and that, you know. But when it comes out cheap, maybe on Amazon Prime, I might just have a look at it, just out of curiosity, because that's what sometimes I do, even though I'm not really keen keen on a film, not, really in a rush to see it. I might just have a little peek out of curiosity just to see what it's like I did with Renfield. I wasn't really building up my expectations of that. I thought, well, I'll have a look at it and check it out. And well, you know the result, don't you? Amy's saying, I loved Renfield with the exception of comedy, but I love the gore. Rice, yeah. It's one of those Marmite movies, isn't it? Santos de Castillo's here. Hi, Alan. You okay, Santos? Thanks for stopping by. First time watching live. Cheers. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I've been doing these live streams for quite a few months now. So so welcome to the fold. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Now, if you've got anything you want to talk about, particularly horror, anything you'd like to ask me, even about my own work as a horror writer, because I write my own horror books as well as reviewing movies. I'm a horror writer. So if you want to ask me any questions, within reason, of course, yeah, fire away. So I'm here till 10 p.m. Amy's saying, I'm going to watch Haunted Mansion 2023 later on, so we'll talk about that next Thursday. It's terrible, as bad as 2003 Eddie Murphy one. Not a fan of the Eddie Murphy one. Watched the trailer of this new one before, and I'm not impressed. It seems to be cluttered with special effects and that, and I don't like that in a movie where they pile loads of special effects in at the expense of the story. I think they try to be a little bit too clever, if you ask me, guys, with those special effects. So yeah, I don't think I'll be watching that. Am I Dead Yet saying, I watched the new Scream at the weekend. It was okay, but nothing original. Same old thing with those films. Wasn't the same without Neve Campbell. I won't comment on that because I've got what's the name of that, the 4K, so I won't talk about that until I've seen the movie. Yes, I don't want to know what happens, but the master of all movies, Prestwood DVD collector. Alan, I'm new to everyone. Live podcast stream. My name is Sarah. I'm Down syndrome. I do have disability. Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. And I send you my best wishes, my regards. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Hope you enjoy it anyway. Yeah. We get some pretty good discussions going on these live streams and that. So yeah, welcome to the fold. Amy, also, I am going to watch The Last Voyage of the Demeter. All right. Oh, I've been waiting for that to come out. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's it. For anybody who doesn't know what the Demeter is, that was the ship what Count Dracula stowed away on when he came to Whitby, England, to spread his vampirism plague. Yeah. So if you've read Dracula, you'll know exactly what I mean. But for those of you who don't know, you're scratching head, say, what's he on about, the Demeter? That's the name of the ship what Count Dracula stowed away in when he came to England. He killed all the crew, he slaughtered them and that, I would have loved to have seen that in the Christopher Lee 1958 movie, but I'm looking forward to that one. And from what I've seen from the trailer, the Dracula's more like a kind of a Nosferatu, isn't he? Like bald head and pointed ears. He doesn't look like the conventional Dracula like Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi. He's going back to the kind of like Salem's Lot Barlow kind of version of Dracula, which is fine, as long as it's a good Dracula movie. I don't care what Dracula looks like, as long as he's downright scary and downright gripping and downright enjoyable. That'll do me. Yeah. So there you go. Chestnut 7 is saying, I got the Nanny DVD from a charity shop for £1. Good film. It's certainly a good film starring the late great Bessie Davis. I've got the DVD of that, The Nanny. It's great. Yeah. Hannah. Yeah, it's great. I love The Nanny. She's made some good films, Bette Davis. Amy's saying, have you seen the Exorcist prequels? Are not great, by the way. Yeah, as I say, I'm not really a great fan of the Exorcist franchise. But yeah, I didn't see any of the prequels. The master of all movies, Prestwood DVD collector. I'm also a DVD collector. More power to you if you're a DVD collector. We need more people like you, like me, like all the rest of the gang in the YouTube to promote collecting physical media, because I think it stinks the way some of these companies are trying to take what's the names out, take Blu-rays and DVDs out of countries not producing anymore. One certain major company who shall remain nameless, I think is, what I mean, aren't going to publish their Blu-rays anymore in Australia. So I think it stinks, to be honest with you, and I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of streaming. Yeah, but having said that, I have watched the odd movie on the streaming service, but I prefer to collect physical media, guys. I like to go to the shop and pick it off the shelf and that, you know, and I get a buzz when it comes through the letterbox from Amazon. I just got one now, actually, a couple of hours ago, which is going to be in my next pickups. Great psychological thriller starring Patty Duke, so that'll be in my next pickups. But yeah, I think it really stinks the way these companies are, you know, are stopping production of the physical media. You know, they're trying to push it into the ground to extinction, but they won't. You know, as I say, as long as we've got, all, you know, as long as us, you know, fans of physical media continue to buy the goods, it'll never die out. I'm just fingers crossed it won't die out. Brian's saying to Amy, The Haunted Mansion 2023 sounds really good. I hope you have a great time at the cinema. The Last Voyage of the Demeter looks good too. The Last Voyage of the Demeter looks very good, Brian, yeah. And it's one movie, it's on my radar that to watch, yeah. So at the minute that comes out, I don't go to the cinema now, so I'll wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or DVD or even on Amazon Prime, you know. So I'll definitely be getting that one. Anything to do with Dracula, I'm right there. Kevin's saying, I can't believe Jaws was an A in the cinema. One of the best and quite terrifying films. Jaws was one of my all-time favorite movies, Kevin. I love it. I've got the 4K of that. Yeah, the original Jaws from 1975. I've also got the novel as well by Peter Benchley. So yeah, Jaws 2 was all right. It wasn't great. And the others, I didn't care for the others, and especially that one where the shark was following them around, just as if, you know, that was a bit far-fetched, yeah. But that Jaws 2, a lot of people have said, like, you know, they're not too happy that they didn't get the slipcover with it, you know. Lovely addition in that. I saw it in HMV last Saturday when I was shopping in Liverpool, but it didn't have the slipcover. But I believe the American one has got the slipcover. So if I do get it, it'll have to be the one with the slipcover. Amy's saying to Brian Gilson, well, hopefully, yeah. 80s horror fan, 88. Hi, Alan and chat. You okay, mate? Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you. Hope you've been watching some good movies this week, yeah? Yeah. Ask me anything at all, you know, about horror, anything at all within reason, of course. Discuss your favourite horror movies, your favourite horror actors, yeah? Always love this discussion on Thursday nights. Right, so just get the comments back up, guys. Amy's saying, I am going to watch Cobweb starring Lizzie Kaplan, Anthony Starr, and Woody Norman. Oh, I don't know any of those. I will see after this live stream. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, Cobweb. Brian's saying to Amy, fingers crossed they are good. Yeah, fingers crossed that they're good, yeah. Lee Fitter is saying, if Christopher Lee didn't play Dracula, who would you put in his place? Now that is a tough one. That is a very, very tough one. Two people spring to mind. I would say Louis Jordan, because he was very good in the Dracula 1977 TV series. I'd say Louis Jordan, and possibly the guy who played Count Yorga, Robert Quarry. I thought he was very good as Dracula. Count Yorga. So if you haven't seen those Count Yorga movies, guys, I check them out because they're very, very similar. They're very similar to a Count Dracula, you know. So they, you know, I'd highly recommend them. Arrow done a gorgeous set with the two movies in Count Yorga and the Return of Count Yorga. There was going to be a third one actually, but it fell through. But yeah, Robert Quarry is very, very like Christopher Lee. So I'd highly recommend them. So yes, it would be either Robert Quarry or Louis Jordan. Yeah, but Christopher Lee, oh God, he takes some beating. And of course, going back further, we mustn't forget dear old Bela Lugosi, the first real, you know, screen Dracula, apart from Nosferatu, Max Schreck. So yeah, Bela Lugosi, you know, good as Dracula. Amy's saying, I'm also going to watch the live action. Is that Zombie 100 film, Amy? Kevin's saying, I really enjoyed The Frighteners back in the 90s, starring Michael J. Fox. Good film. It's years since I saw that, Kev. I don't remember too much about that one, The Frighteners. I seem to remember renting it out on VHS in the early 90s, but I don't remember the story. I've only seen it once. Kevin again saying, hi, Sarah, welcome. Am I dead yet? Saying, I was just wondering, Alan, you were saying you were a horror writer. Are you a part of some kind of British Writers Guild or something? No, I'm just independent, self-published. I publish my own books on Amazon and Kindle and Apple. So yeah, I'm not a member of any writers organizations. I just like to go solo. I publish my books, I write them, and I just self-publish on Amazon, Kindle, and Smashwords. Kobo, places like that. So if you type my name in on Amazon, Alan Toner, you'll get a list of all my books on Amazon. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like to be independent. Yeah. Stuart George is saying, I can't make live chat. I'm busy sorting my channel video for Saturday. My other favourite horror movies. I'll watch your live chat tomorrow, mate. Oh, that's fine, mate. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I catch up on lives myself. If I can't watch them on the night, I always make it my business to go back the next night and watch them. So just because I don't watch them when they're a kid, and it doesn't mean I've got no intention of watching them. I usually catch up on the next night and that. Yeah. So yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah. Hope you enjoy it anyway, mate. Amy's saying, yeah, the reason why the Dracula in Late Voyage looks more like Nosferatu is due to Javier Botet playing him. He played Mama in Mama. Oh, right, yeah. Looking forward to that new Dracula Demeter movie. Santos de Castillo, catching up on old classics. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 31, incredible. Oh, yeah, the one with Frederick March, yeah, I know the one you mean. Brian Gilson says, hi, Sarah. Welcome. We have a nice group of film fans here. I certainly second that. Yeah. Nice people on this group. Amy, but Stellan Skarsgård was great in the Exorcist prequels. Yeah, I can't really comment on that because, as I say, I haven't really seen them. Tell you what was a good movie, guys. I watched the other night. You must probably seen me review by now. Race with the Devil. From 1975, and it stars the blonde girl out of MASH, Loretta Swit, who's known as Hot Lips, and Peter Fonda. Oh yeah, these four people, the two married couples, and basically they encountered this group of Satanists in the woods, and why they're in the trailer, and that they stop by one night by this clearing, and they see this occult ceremony. Well, if you watch me review, you'll know what I mean. And he gets chased up and down the backwoods of America by this gang of menacing satanic cultists. It's great. I'd highly recommend it. Yeah, from 1975. It's very much along the lines of The Devil's Reign. The one Ernest Borgnine was in, where he played a high priest. So yeah, so if you haven't seen my review of Race with the Devil, I'd suggest you go along. Recommend go along and have a look at it. And if you like those kind of movies like Dennis Wheatley, The Devil Rides Out, To the Devil Adults, I think you'll enjoy Race with the Devil. Yeah, so yeah, great little movie. Yeah, another one I can recommend, guys, is So Sweet, So Dead. Kind of, it is a giallo movie. I only knew about that through a girl on YouTube. She's absolutely mad on giallo movies, and she said this was her favorite giallo, So Sweet, So Dead. So I'd highly recommend that one as well. It's a great one. Almy, I'm going to watch the Saw X trailer tomorrow. Oh, they made another Saw, have they? God, flipping heck. Oh, when you think there's a cash cow, and there's still some milk in it, they'll milk it, won't they, till it's dry. God. Amy, Alan, have you seen Overlord 2018 or any Nazi zombie films? I've seen Dead Snow, the two Dead Snows. I wasn't too keen on them. Yeah, the Nazis come back to life in the snow. Yeah, and I haven't seen Overlord, so I can't comment on that one, Amy. By the title, it seems to suggest something to do with D-Day. And is it Nazi monsters waiting for the Allies to hit the beach or something like that? Or is it something more than that? I'll have to check that out. Amy's saying, that's why there's no Jaws remake. Yeah, there better not be a Jaws remake. I do not want to see a Jaws remake. Heaven forbid. Keep Jaws in 1975. See, again, I could go on about this till the cows come home. Why do they persist going back to classics and ruining them? Why don't they leave them alone? I can't even mention Snow White. I won't mention that. But why don't they just leave the classics alone and come up with something new? And all this woke insanity doing me bloody head in. It really is. If you can't make a classic well, don't bother making it. That's what I say. Amy's saying the author of Jaws said he apologized for Is that Demonizing Sharks? Peter Benchley, yeah. He wrote The Deep as well, didn't he? He made a movie about The Deep. Has anybody seen The Deep or read the book The Deep? I seem to remember, I think it was on it. Wasn't a TV movie around about the late 70s? I think it was 1977 because I remember Donna Summer singing down that song Down Deep Inside. Remember that song, guys, Down Deep Inside by Donna Summer? That was from The Deep, I seem to remember, around about 1977. So, yeah. Kevin's saying, I saw Jaws 3 in 3D in the cinema, Alan. Oh, right, yeah. I can imagine that was an experience, Kev, seeing it in 3D on the big screen. Yam's moving pictures. Watch it, Alan. I hope you're well. I'm not too bad, thanks. I hope you are as well. You know, you've had a good weekend. You've watched some good movies. Thanks for stopping by. You know, yeah, I really appreciate it. Amy's saying, have you heard about the Omen? Oh, they're not going to do a prequel to the Omen Army. Oh, God. The Omen prequel, the first Omen. I don't think I'll be watching that. Oh, no, I don't think I'll be watching that. Although I love the Omen movies, I don't think I'll be watching that. Maybe have a sneak peek at the trailer, and I'll be going into it with very, very low expectations, I'm afraid. Amy's saying, have you seen the Purge films? No. That's one franchise I haven't got round to seeing, the Purge, yeah. I'll have to check those out. Kevin's asking me, are you a fan of old Dracula, Alan? I've got it in my collection, Kev. Also known as Vampire. It stars David Niven. That's fun, yeah. And one of my movie crushes in that, Kev. The lovely Veronica Carlson, yeah. And Linda I'm sure Linda Hayden's in it as well. But I know Veronica Carlson's in it. Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, I would have loved that. I would have loved that Vinegar Syndrome one with the lovely slipcover. But I've got the other version. I can't remember the boutique label that produced it. But I've got it came out a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's a good take. It's a good take on the Dracula story. Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's why I've kept it in my collection. Yeah, that's right up there with my other favourite vampire spoof, Dance of the Vampires with Sharon Tate. Yeah, so yeah, I like old Dracula. I like David Niven as well. He was good with Sharon Tate in Eye of the Devil. I don't know if you've seen that one from 1965. Also stars the guy that was in Deep Red. David Hemmings and Deborah Carr. I've always spoken highly about Eye of the Devil. It's one of my favourite 1960s black and white occult movies. So if you haven't seen Eye of the Devil, starring Sharon Tate and David Niven, and, you know, as I say, David Hemmings, check it out. Deborah Carr, check it out. It's great. Amy's saying Stellan Skarsgård is the brother of Bill and Alexandra. Oh, right. The guy that played Pennywise in it. Yam's moving pictures is saying, I viewed the new Exorcist trailer yesterday. I'm not happy. There's now 2 wenches possessed. Yes, I noticed that. And Dark Wench been possessed. All I can see is wokeness in it. Yeah, the 1973 original should not be remade. Yeah, and that's what I said before. Exactly my point. You shouldn't touch classics. You should leave them alone and come up with new stories. I think it just amounts to laziness myself. You know, they just won't write. They won't write new stories and that, you know, they just, we'll go back and rehash this, rehash that and that. And in the process, making a bloody dog's breakfast of it. Yeah. So leave well alone, leave the remakes alone. That's what I say. Santos is saying, sorry if you've mentioned this title in the past, but have you seen Deluge from 1933? Probably the first disaster. I haven't seen that one. I didn't even know about it. Deluge, no, I never mentioned it. That you would know there was a movie called Deluge. I presume it's along the lines of like the Towering Inferno and earthquake movies like that. No, that's new to me, that one. Acey's Horror Fan is saying, question, Alan, can you still sit down over a few days and rewatch the classic franchises like Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, and so on? I can, even after countless rewatches. Well, that's a very good question, actually, Acey's Horror Fan. Now, I'll go through the franchises one by one and give you my thoughts on them. So, firstly, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't watched them for ages, but if I was going to sit down and watch them, the only 3 I would watch would be the first 3. I do not like The Dream Child, The Dream Warriors. I've said that, not The Dream Warriors, The Dream Master. I hate them, and the reason why I hate them was because they put too much comedy in the Freddy character. They injected too many facetious scenes, almost to the point that they made him into like a stand-up comedian, which I didn't like. You know, I like my horror to be serious. You know, I don't mind a little bit of comedy where it's due. You know, you can go, you know, you go into a movie known as a comedy like Dance of the Vampires, you know, Abbott and Costello, me Frankenstein. I don't mind that. But as regards Elm Street, if I was to sit down and watch them, it would be just the first 3. Oh, I love Freddy's Revenge Part 2, by the way. Yeah, I can't understand why, you know, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. I absolutely love that one, yeah. Now, moving on to Friday the 13th, again, there's only so many of them I like. I'm not really fussy on the one where he went to space and the one where he chop him up and he build him back again. Was that Jason Goes to Hell? Wasn't keen on that. So most probably be the first 5 or 6, if that. Hellraiser, I only like the first one, and so on. I can. The ones I can watch one after the other is the Psycho movies, because I think they're fantastic. I don't mean the remake. I mean the ones with Anthony Perkins in, where he played Norman Bates in you know, all 4. Watch them over and over. They're that good. Just like I can watch Christopher Lee's Dracula's one after the other. I can watch Peter Cushing's Frankenstein's one after the other. Not too sure about the Scream because I haven't really watched them in any great depth. Halloween, again, I can only watch so many. I only really like the first 2, you know, the ones, the 1978 and the Halloween 2 where he was in the hospital in 1981. After that, they're a little bit hit and miss for me. I did not like that 3rd one. I hated it. But I know a lot of people do like it. I did not like it at all. I didn't find anything entertaining, anything scary at all. I hated it. I didn't like the David Gordon Green trilogy either. I wasn't too keen on that. You know, I think he should have left that alone. Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. That's me. That's me answers anyway. Amy's saying, have you heard about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? Oh, they're not going to do a bloody sequel to that, are they? I give up. I'm going to throw in a towel with Hollywood. That was one of the worst. I watched the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It was one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my whole darn life. It really was. It was awful. Dreadful, dreadful movie. I don't know how I got through it, guys. Honestly, it was terrible. It was awful. I could sit here all night spouting negative comments about that movie. I hated it. It was rubbish. So, God, I don't know what to make of Hollywood now. They're just churning anything else, aren't they? In the hope of making a fast buck. Amy's saying, will you go to Fright Fest this year? I would like a Fright Fest to come down to Liverpool, you know, because I don't travel much now, you know. I haven't got a car. So fingers crossed it'll come down to Liverpool, you know. I get the Dark Side magazine every month. I just got the latest issue today from Tesco's, and big fan of that magazine. I've always supported it, always spoke well about it. And yeah, Fright Fest and that, the conventions what Alan Bryce talks about, they sound very interesting, yeah. So conventions like that, yeah, I'd be happy to go to. I did go to one horror convention going back must be about 4 or 5 years ago in Liverpool. Callum Munro was there, and a couple of the guys that were in the Friday the 13th movies. I didn't get their autographs, and I just had a mosey around and that, you know. But yeah, that was quite good. The horror convention in Liverpool, but it's mostly Comic Cons now. I don't really bother with them. Amy's saying, have you seen any Rob Zombie films? Yeah, the Rob Zombie Halloween remake, which I quite enjoyed. I didn't like the second one though, with the white horse. The one with the that was Rob Zombie, wasn't it? The House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah, and the Devil's Rejects. They were Rob Zombies. I've just got the latest one now, the 3rd one, so I haven't watched that one yet. So I'll reserve my judgment till I've watched that. And Paul, what's his name, died, didn't he, halfway through that? Sid Haig. Yeah, he was a great actor, Sid Haig. Yeah, he had a bald chap, you know, played the what was his name? I forget his name, and it was a Captain something in those Devil's Rejects movies. Yeah, I liked it. I'll tell you what I like him in Spider Baby. That's a good horror movie starring the late great Lon Chaney Jr. That's a great one. That it's about a dysfunctional family. It was made in 1967 in black and white. So if you ever get a chance to watch that, Spider Baby, it's great. He's great in that. Sid Haig. But yeah, I like some of Rob Zombie. I haven't seen all that many, as I say, just the ones I've mentioned. Acey's horror fans saying, I have to say, a remake I enjoy is When a Stranger Calls, for me, better than the original. I haven't seen that one. I've seen the original one. It goes a bit slow. It goes a bit slow in the middle, doesn't it? Starts off good, but it goes very, very slow in the middle. So that's what put me off that one. I had the special edition of that a couple of years ago. Yeah, though, he's in the house all the time, isn't he? Yeah, but yeah, it got very slow for me. But I haven't seen the remake. I'll have to check that one out. Amy, will you stop watching Netflix? I haven't watched Netflix for a couple of years now. We were a member of Netflix, but we cancelled it because they weren't putting many modern movies on. It was ages before to put a modern movie on, especially TV shows. So we cancelled it. So I'm with Amazon Prime now. What I like about Amazon Prime, I like the free delivery, the next day delivery. So. Just wondering when that's guys. I'm just wondering when that new Salem's Lot's coming out. It's taking ages, isn't it, to come out? It seems to be put back and put back and put back and put back. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see how that matches up to the 1979 David Soul, which I'm a huge fan of. If you're watching my videos, you know how much I love that movie. But it'd be very interesting to see how that compares. So the 1979 Salem's Lot is my benchmark by which other versions will be judged. Yeah, so I will definitely check it out just to see how it compares. I hated that one that was made about 2005 with Rutger Hauer. I didn't like A Return to Salem's Lot either. I thought that was terrible. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures says there's a drama horror series highly recommend, Alan. The Last of Us. 10 out of 10 for me. I can't wait for series 2, although I gotta wait as it's not made yet. I've heard a couple of rave reviews about that. Yam Yam, The Last of Us. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, there's one series I am after. I don't know if you guys will remember it or not. It was on it was first screen, guys, in 1972 on a Sunday afternoon. The Owl Service was around about the same time as the Owl Service, that kind of era. It's called The Intruder, and it stars Milton Johns, a famous British actor. Without giving too much away, it's basically about he plays the intruder, and one day he comes to this family. I think that the lad's on the beach or something. I don't know if he's fishing or he's on the beach, and he comes up to him, and he says he's claiming to be him. But he says, no, I'm so and so, and of course he tries to sort of he worms his way into the family and that, but he's got evil intentions and that. So I'm trying to get the Blu-ray of that. I've looked everywhere. It's a network release, but I've ordered the novel as well by John wrote Townsend, The Intruder. So I'd be interested to know if any of you guys have either read the book or seen the TV series. Let me know what you thought of it. So if I can't get the Blu-ray, I'll have to be content with the DVD, I suppose. Yeah, but I do remember it from my childhood, The Intruder. Again, along the lines of shows like Catweasel and I'd say The Owl Service, they were all screened around about that time. The Tomorrow People, that was another one I used to watch. And Ace of Wands, anybody remember Ace of Wands tarot? Yeah. So yes, it's around about that time it was shown. So I'll keep looking anyway. You never know. Amazon might get it in. Kevin William Wardle says, I love The Devil's Rain, good film. It is, Kev, yeah. Ernest Borgnine, yeah, it's great, that one. Yeah, as I say, that one, Race with the Devil, is very similar, but obviously it's more like getting chased along the highway in Race with the Devil. But two very good occult movies from the 70s I can highly recommend if you're into those type of movies, guys. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying The Last of Us is based on the Last of Us horror games, which are the best two games ever, in my opinion. All right, I didn't know that. Edward's saying, have you heard there is a new horror fantasy coming out called The Last Forge of the Demeter? Yeah, I was only talking about that before, Edward. Yeah, I've been looking forward to that for a few weeks now. Yeah, it's about the ship what Dracula stowed away on when he came to Whitby, England, to spread his vampirism. Yeah, I've seen a trailer of it. It looks awesome. It really does, you know. And the Dracula, as I said before, the Dracula, he looks more like a Nosferatu. He's got the image of a Nosferatu kind of vampire rather than the, you know, the urbane, human-looking Christopher Lee Lugosi type of Dracula. He looks more like the vampire that was in Salem's Lot and Nosferatu. So definitely be checking that out. Love Dracula. Amy, yeah, Overlord is a super soldier film, right? Let's check that out. Amy's saying, how about a Jaws remake with David who? David Desmond-Motulin. You never heard of him. Bit of a tongue twister, that. Try saying that after a few pints. Right, who have we got next? Amy again. Hey, Alan, have you heard about the Broken Lizard comedy on Quasimodo? No, don't know what you mean, Aim. The Deep was a cinema film with Robert Shaw. Saw us at the pictures. Oh, Robert Shaw was in that, was he? Oh, right. Yeah. I think he released it. What's the name of that? Didn't he? It was an 88 Films released a Blu-ray of that. The Deep. Am I Dead? Yes. The best killer shark movie apart from the Jaws ones, Deep Blue Sea, The Meg. Yeah. Pretty good. Amy, I'm going to watch the Kyle Gaynor thriller Mother May I after this stream. Oh, is that what's that on? Is that on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or where? Amy's saying the Purge films are very mediocre, so don't bother. Right. Kevin William Wardle saying, yes, Jaws 3D wasn't a good film, to be honest. The second one was good, but the original Jaws is the best. The original Jaws is the best, Kev. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Absolute classic. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures. Also, The Last of Us have likable characters, strong character developments, stunning visuals, and an incredible storyline. Right, I'll have to check that out. Yeah. Amy, to Am I Dead Yet? The Meg wasn't good. Hopefully the sequel is fun. Amy, have you seen Dracula Dead and Loving It? I saw it many years ago. I think it was on one of the cable channels, and I don't remember too much about it. That's Dennis Nielsen, isn't it, doing a spoof of Dracula? I'll have to check that out. I was going to order the Blu-ray a couple of weeks ago with that. So yeah, there's a possibility in the near future I might order the Blu-ray of that. Kevin's saying, sorry. Kevin's saying, yes, Linda Hayden, Bears Ear Fangs, and old Dracula. Love Linda Hayden, yeah. I like old Dracula, also known as Vampira. Graham Powell, John Barry did the music for The Deep, my favourite film composer. I have it on Blu-ray. Robert Shaw was in it. He's a good actor, Robert Shaw. He was great in Jaws, wasn't he? Yeah, fantastic actor. Brian Gilson, Am I Dead Yet? Deep Blue Sea is really good, yeah. Kevin William Wardle saying The Deep was a good one, yeah. Edward's asking me, what's your thoughts on the new Exorcist Believer trailer? As I said before, don't really got to reserve my judgment really until I've seen it. But looks as if there's two girls that's possessed in it. I thought it was going to be a boy, so apparently it's two girls now, is it? Yeah, I say I'm not really a huge fan of The Exorcist. I think it's a very uncomfortable movie to watch. You know, never been among my favourite horror movies, and that, you know, it's something very unpleasant about that movie. But yeah, I'll reserve my judgments, you know, until if I check it out. I don't know yet. I'll have to see. Amy, there will be a remake of Pumpkinhead. Oh, they're not remaking that as well, are they? Oh God. Chestnut 7, yes, Linda Hayden, Blood on Satan's Claw. I love Blood on Satan's Claw. I've got the special edition of that. Oh yeah, I love Linda Hayden. Yeah, she was good in The House on Straw Hill. Taste the Blood of Dracula. A very nice lady as well. You know, I've seen her interviewed many times, and that, you know, she's been at the horror conventions and that. And oh yeah, I love Linda Hayden. Yeah, she's a gorgeous looking woman, and that's a very nice person. Brian's saying to Kevin, Old Dracula is a good film. I have it on Blu-ray. Love at First Bite is a great Dracula comedy. That's the one with George Hamilton, isn't it? Love at First Bite. I saw that years ago. I don't remember too much about it. Yeah. So I'll have to check that one out again. Love at First Bite. Amy's asking me, have you seen any Leprechaun films? I've seen quite a few Leprechaun films. Not a great fan of them. Didn't do much for me. I think they're more comedy than anything. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the Leprechaun movies, unfortunately. Richard's saying Deluge was based on a novel, right? Kevin's saying Dracula Dead and Loving It. Pushed her. I'll have to check that one out. The late great Leslie Nielsen, yeah. Oh, he was good, Leslie Nielsen. He could play serious roles and comedy roles, couldn't he? Famous for the Naked Gun movies, wasn't he, as well? Yeah. And he was in an Exorcist spoof, wasn't he? But Repossessed, from what I can remember. Didn't he play a priest? Repossessed. Amy, how about Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare? It's all right. It's not really one of my favourites. I do the first three, as I said before. Yeah, first three are my favourites after that. Kevin's saying, yes, Brian, Love at First Bite is good. Yeah. Amy, sorry, guys, the comments are going a bit weird. Amy, have you seen Creepshow? I've seen all the Creepshow movies. First one, I watched it again recently. I didn't get the same excitement from it for some reason. I don't know what it was. I don't like that cockroach scene. I think that's horrible. Creepshow 2 is okay. Yeah, that's okay. The Hitchhiker, thanks for the ride, lady. Creepshow 3, no. Very, very poor. And I did not like that new Creepshow TV series I bought. I forked out for the box sets of that, the Blu-ray box sets. And I was hugely disappointed, guys. I thought I was in for a real treat with them. But the stories were terrible, awful. They put comedy in. Again, bloody stupid comedy is very, very incongruous to a lot of horror movies. Comedy, there's no need for it, and I just didn't like it, guys. It was a shame because they were lovely slip covers and that, and special features and that. But the stories were just pants. They were real pants. So I sold them. Brian's saying to Kevin, Dracula Dead and Loving It is great too. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Chestnut 7, Creepshow and Creepshow 2, great films. A lot of people do like them. Yeah. Richard Brown, Hellraiser 2 is great, nearly as good as Hellraiser. Did you think so? Oh no, I'm not too keen on. The only one I like is the first one, and I'm not going near that new one with a bloody woman, isn't it? Taking Pinhead off. Oh, I'm shunning that, guys. I want my Pinhead to be a man, like the original fella that took him off. I don't want bloody Pinhead having a woman pins in her head. Oh, when I saw that, I thought, oh, I'm not watching that crap. I think that's another franchise that's run its course, guys. The Hellraiser. If you ask me, I don't think they should make any more now of them, But that's just my opinion. Kev's saying Psycho 2 is great. Well, I certainly agree with you there, Kev. I think it's one of the greatest sequels ever made. Stands right up there with The Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, Wolf Creek 2, all the great sequels, Halloween 2, that's right up there with all the great horror sequels. I actually might do a video, of my all-time favourite horror sequels, the greatest masterpiece sequels ever made. So watch this space. But yeah, I love Psycho 2. Amy's saying, hey, Alan, have you heard about the Exorcist parody? I just mentioned that before. Repossessed. It has Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen. I just mentioned that before. Yeah, doesn't Leslie Nielsen play the priest? Yeah, it's a kind of a spoof of the Exorcist. Yeah. Made it a good few years ago, didn't he? Chestnut 7 is saying, I love all 4 Psycho films. I certainly love all 4 Psycho films. They're absolute masterpieces of cinema, and I could watch them anytime, and I think Anthony Perkins, I don't think anybody can come up to him playing Norman Bates, in my honest opinion. He made that role his own, didn't he? Yeah. I tell you, guys, another good Anthony Perkins movie I can recommend. He made Outside of Psycho. Have any of you guys heard of a movie called Pretty Poison? It's very good. Yeah, he plays. It's a while since I watched it. From what I can remember, he plays this worker in this like a construction firm, and he starts imagining. He starts thinking he's a spy and that. He's a bit of a Billy Liar. He starts telling tall tales and that, and he does something in the works. I don't know if he tampers with the machine and that. And his boss fires him and that, and he befriends this gorgeous blonde girl. Oh, really lovely blonde girl, and they become like a Bonnie and Clyde, duo and that, and he's kidding her up that he's a spy and that. He tells her all these tall stories and that. But you think it's going in one direction, but it goes in an entirely different direction, and it really knocks you for six when you see the twist. I won't reveal what the twist is, but watch out for it. It's called Pretty Poison. I think Tuesday Weld plays the blonde girl, if I'm not very much mistaken. Tuesday Weld, she plays the blonde girl who Anthony Perkins falls in love with. But yeah, what Pretty Poison, if any of you guys have seen it, do you agree with me that it's another great Anthony Perkins movie? Let me know. It's great. I'd recommend it if you haven't seen it. Pretty Poison. Amy, have you seen Barbarian 2022? No, I'm going to... I might check that out, Amy. Barbarian. I've heard mixed reviews about it. Some people like it and some people hate it. So, yeah, another one of those Marmite movies, I suppose. Chestnut 7 is saying, I want to go to a horror convention too before the greats have all gone. Yeah, there's not many greats left, is there really? When you think about it, they were all my favourite all my favourite horror actors who I class as greats have all gone. Boris Karloff, Christopher Lee, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr., Vincent Price, they've all gone, haven't they? Anthony Perkins, so there's not really all that many horror legends left, really, is there? Amy's saying it's Captain Spaulding. That's the guy I was thinking of when I was talking about the Rob Zombie movies before. Captain Spaulding, he's the leader of the pack, isn't he, shall we say? Yeah. Captain Spaulding, yeah, The Devil's Rejects and A House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah, great actor. Sid Haig, absolutely love him. God rest his soul. Amy's saying, oh, yeah, it's not just a sequel to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. There's also going to be a Peter Pan and Bambi. Oh, God. Peter Pan and Bambi. Those probably ruined them as well. If people didn't go to watch them, guys, they'd have to change their tune and start coming up with original stories. Thousands of people boycotted them. That would teach them a lesson, I think it's just ridiculous the way they're going back to classics and meddling with them, almost to the point of non-recognition. To be brutally honest. So I think they should leave the classics well alone. Chestnut 7 is asking me, what did you think of Fear in the Night? Piece of cushion one. I liked it. Very good. I've got it in my collection. Yeah. He's a kind of a red herring in that, isn't he? Like the school teacher, you think he's the villain, but it goes in an entirely different direction, doesn't it? I love Fear in the Night. It's great. Yeah, I love it. Judy Geeson's in it as well, and Joan Collins. Amy's saying, have you seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? No. I've got no intention of either because it doesn't sound my type of film. Like that other one, Pride and Prejudice Zombies. Oh, no. Just the title alone dissuades me. You can tell, guys, right away. Sometimes these films are going to be corny. You only have to look at the title and you think, "Oh man, I'll be staying away from that one." Amy's saying, "The new Salem's Lot is coming next autumn." Source Joblo. All right, next autumn. So finally going to get it, are we? I'll be very interested to see how it compares to the 1979 masterpiece. I'm certainly not holding. I'm not holding my expectations high because up to now there's only one Salem's Lot for me, and that's the 1971 with David Soul and James Mason. That's my number one favorite Salem's Lot movie. So none's come up to that since. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how this one compares. Very interesting to see. Am I dead yet? Saying hopefully Salem's Lot will come out for Halloween this year. Yeah, they're bringing The Exorcist, Believer out, aren't they, for Halloween? Amy's asking me, have you seen Clownado? I've seen a lot of clown movies. I don't think I'm not sure now, whether I've seen that one. I've seen a lot of clown movies, Amy. I might have seen it, Clownado, yeah. So if I haven't, I don't remember too much about it, to be honest with you. 80s horror fan 88 saying, I've just seen the poster for the new Saw film. It looks like it's going back to the original filming style. Can't wait for that. Oh, right. Yeah, I must probably check it out. The Saw movies are a little bit of a mixed bag for me. I like the first few, but after that, they started to get, getting a little bit meh, So I must probably check it out. Yeah. So I wasn't too keen on that last. It was a Spiral. Wasn't too keen on that. Sorry, guys, the comments have just jumped a bit. Amy's saying, am I dead yet? Sorry, but according to Jolo, Warner Discovery won't release it till the WGA and SAG strikes. And all right. Amy's saying that The Last of Us Blu-rays at HMV. I'll have to check that out. Am I dead yet? Saying, oh yeah, the strike is holding things up. Yeah, so it's still going on then, is it? That writer's strike. Amy's saying, I've heard about the supernatural Meg film, The Black Demon. Yeah, I've seen that advertised, The Black Demon. I don't know whether I'll be watching it like not too sure about that one, Black Demon. So I might check it out, like see, right. Richard Brown. Did you see the Clifton House mystery from the 70s? No, I haven't seen that one, Richard. Amy's asking me, have you seen any recent Bruce Willis films? I'm not a fan of Bruce Willis. No, not a fan of Die Hard. Don't really watch him in anything really, so I'm not really a fan of it at all. No, just like Nicolas Cage, I'm not really a fan of him. Graham Powell, what's people's thoughts on the TV series Penny Dreadful? I've never seen that. I've heard a lot of people saying they like it, and on the other side of the coin, a lot of people aren't too keen on it. So it'd be interesting to hear people's views on that. Penny Dreadful, isn't that the series where you get all the top horror stuff, the famous horror characters from history, appealing like Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? I'm sure that's the one. Jack the Ripper, Penny Dreadful, yeah. Broken Lizard. Amy's saying Broken Lizard is a comedy group. The Quasi film is on Disney Plus. All right. Santos is saying pre-80s horror was great because bad things happen to all ages, not just teens and 20-somethings. I totally agree with you, Santos. Yeah, there's far too many teen movies now. There's far too many teenagers in their horror movies. And I think Hollywood should pull its socks up and start making movies with people of all ages. And then we made a good point there. Yeah. Prior to 80s horror, there was a lot. There was people of all ages, wasn't there? You only have to give an example like Tales from the Crypt from 1972. People of all ages in that. Dracula, the Christopher Lee Dracula films, people of all ages. Frankenstein, people of all ages. Could go on and on. There's too many teenagers now ruining these horror. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. There's too many teenagers now ruining horror movies. There's too much bad language as well, and there's no need for it at all. They're just ruining the horror movie genre. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. You made a good point there, Santos. Amy's saying Mother May I is on Sky, right? Amy's asking me, have you seen Dario Argento's Dracula 3D? I have seen it and I didn't like it. I thought it was an awful Dracula movie. But where did that come from? Dracula turned into a giant like bug, like a praying mantis. I thought that was a bit far-fetched. That he didn't do that in the novel, did he? But yeah, and the Dracula, he wasn't scary at all. He looked more like a male model out of a winter catalogue, modelling jumpers, didn't he? But yeah, as much as I love Dario Argento, Amy, I did not like that Dracula 3D. A lot of people don't like that either. So yeah, one of the worst Dracula movies I've ever seen in my life. Amy's saying, will you watch The Nun 2? No, I didn't like the first one, so I won't be watching The Nun 2. That was the worst one that in the Conjuring universe, The Nun. Vinny's saying, hi, Alan. You okay, Vin? Do you remember Sapphire and Steel? I remember it, yeah. David McCallum and the girl who played Purdy. Oh, what's her name? The girl who played Purdy in the Avenger, Joanna Lumley. I never watched it, but I do remember it being on. Come on, about 7, didn't it? On BBC One. Amy's saying Overlord is a film about American soldiers landing in France on D-Day, finding Nazi experiments. Oh, right. Amy's saying, I'm sorry, Alan, but moving use is real, right? Amy's saying also there's another Dracula film this time from the director of Externals. Oh, what's this Dracula one? I know that the Voyage of the Demeter is coming out, isn't it? But there's another Dracula one. Oh, right. So tell me more, Amy. I'm interested. Richard Brown says Linda Hayden was in Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. Played the secretary. Yeah, she's played other roles as well as horror roles. Linda Hayden, very, very versatile actress. Yeah, lovely looking girl. Yeah. Amy, have you seen the vampire romance film, The Invitation? Do you know what? I don't think I've seen that one, Amy. Have you seen it? Is it any good? They haven't seen that one. It's not like along the lines of an Anne Rice vampire movie, is it? Interview with the Vampire, which I wasn't too keen on. I like the vampires to be real demonic and brutal, like Christopher Lee. I don't like the kind of like Twilight vampires, which I think has ruined the vampire genre, prissy poster boys making them vampires and that. I wasn't a big fan of the Lost Boys, guys. I hated that. That's very, very overrated movie, The Lost Boys. I didn't like it. I got bored with that. I switched it off. It sent me to sleep. So I didn't bother with the bloody sequels. I'm not a fan of The Lost Boys. Not at all. Amy, was the Elm Street remake too serious? I've only seen it once, to be quite honest with you, Amy. I don't remember too much about it. I think it was much more serious than the ones that came after The Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors. But I seem to remember not being particularly impressed. Was it who was it played Freddy? Was it Jack Haley or somebody? Was it Jack Haley? Yeah, that wasn't it. It didn't really impress me. No, so. Amy's asking me, have you seen Werewolves of the Third Reich? No. I have to watch that one. I like a good werewolf movie. I have to check that out. Amy's asking me again, have you seen any Sharknado films? I've seen a couple of bits of them on the Horror Channel. They're quite way out, aren't they? The sharks jumping up in the air and that after the airplanes and that. They're quite, they're very sort of like out there. Those Sharknado movies, aren't they? I haven't seen them in entirety, Amy. I was looking at the box set. They've got a box set. I think it's Amazon Germany. They've got a box set with 6 films in. I was thinking about picking it up. But yeah, they're kind of like fun shark movies, aren't they? Fun, slapstick and that. Amy's saying, I enjoyed the Creepshow series. Excuse me. Yeah, some people liked it. Wasn't for me. The stories weren't strong enough. Well, it's just one man's meat, isn't it? Another man's poison. We can't all like the same things. Yeah. I was expecting much more from it. And that, thought it would have been like along the lines of, Tales from the Crypt and Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected, and Hammer House of Horror. But I didn't like the injections of comedy they put in and that, and the stories were a bit meh, so it wasn't for me. Amy, the new one is more boring, right? Hellraiser 2022 is boring. Well, I've had a narrow escape there then, haven't I? Kevin's saying one of the worst horror films had got to be Birdemic. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So I agree with you there, Kev. Yeah, it was an awful movie. I love The Birds, the original Alfred Hitchcock, with Tippi Hedren and Rod Taylor. Absolutely love that. I've got the 4K of that. I haven't watched it yet, but I should imagine it will look beautiful on 4K. I love The Birds. I can watch that anytime. I love the mystery about it. You didn't know why the birds were attacking. How they were suddenly swooping down and pecking people's heads and that. I loved so many iconic scenes in that. Where Tippi Hedren, she's in the boat, isn't she? And the gull swoops down and pecks her head. Rod Taylor, the birds, taking the two lovebirds and that, the sort of romance and that between her and Rod Taylor. The part where she's She's sitting in the school playground, sitting on the bench and having a smoke, and the birds start congregating on the monkey bars, don't they? All of that scene, yeah. And then with the attack and that, you know, Tippy Hedden's in the in the telephone booth. So many iconic scenes in the birds. I just love it. One of my all-time favourites. My all-time favourites, Animals on the Rampage. Animals on the Rampage movies, and in the top 3 of my all-time favourite Hitchcock movies, along with Psycho and Frenzy. Amy's saying they're making a Wolf Creek 3. They're taking the time, aren't they, Amy? Waited ages for that. Oh, God, I've said in a couple of my streams, when did this new Wolf Creek movie coming out? Because he went to the TV series, didn't he? I got the first series on Blu-ray, but what I didn't like about that, it concentrated too much on the girl. You didn't really see much of Mick Taylor, to be honest with you. And I didn't bother checking out the second series, but let's hope it's worth waiting for. After I think been waiting for about 4 years for this to come out. So fingers crossed it'll be as good as the first 2. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying, my favourite horror story is Dante's Divine Comedy by Dante, is that Alighieri, which was written between 1308 and 1321. Some say it was completed in 1314. So it's either 1314 or 1321 when it was completed. I've never read that one. Dante's Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yeah, it's surprising. Like when you delve back into the archives of history, you can find some real good little gems of horror stories, can't you? You know, I've been collecting the British Classics Library, those horror books, horror short stories from authors like from years ago. They're very good. Like there's one about like Christmas. There's 2 about Christmas. There's one about sort of dimensions. You must probably know the ones I mean, guys, and stories from the British Library. And you go into Waterstones, you usually see them on the top shelf. They're very good, yeah. Yeah, so I'm collecting all of them. Some real good gems in them. Make good movies. Amy's saying, and there's wait for us, a Birdemic 4 coming. Oh my days, I don't think I'll be watching that. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying, there's also 2 great films made in 1911 called is that Inferno or L'Inferno, based on this great story? Oh, I haven't heard of that one either. Any fans here of the another very, very old horror movie, The Cabinets of Dr. Caligari? I've got the special edition of that. Eureka Entertainment's the Blu-ray. Very good. Yeah. Not for everybody, but it's a silent movie. And I won't tell you about the story in case you haven't seen it. But it said that was really the first horror movie ever made. The Cabinets of Dr. Caligari. It was at 1921. I think it was 1921. Yeah. So if you haven't seen that and you don't mind silent horror movies, I highly recommend The Cabinets of Dr. Caligari. I might do a review of that at some points. Yeah. Amy's asking me, have you seen 1408? It's a Stephen King adaptation. I have seen 1408. That's the one where the guy stays in the room, doesn't he, in a hotel, and it's like, isn't it like a portal? Hasn't somebody died in there? And it's like a portal into another dimension. Yeah, 1408. Yeah. Is Samuel L. Jackson in that? Sure, he's in that. By the way, talking to Samuel L. Jackson, guys, I watched Pulp Fiction last night. Well, let's say I half watched it. I turned it off because I was bored out of my bloody skull. I can't see why it was mentioned. A lot of people like it. It's one of the most overrated movies I've ever seen. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Oh, John Travolta. All you hear was effing this, effing that, effing this, effing that. Flipping it. Give us a break, will you? And then, like, basically, from what I could gather about these 2 hitmen, different things were happening to them. And it was just going from scene to scene. And they had that dance scene, didn't he, in the club? The stuff like Retro Club, John Travolta and Emma Thurman and that, And but yeah, it's not one of me. It's not a movie I'll be watching again ever. I got to the part with Bruce Willis, and I said to my mum, I've had enough of this. She didn't like it either, so I turned it off. Yeah, I can't understand why so many people rate Pulp Fiction so high. I thought it was a real bore fest. I hated it. I really did, you know. So I tell you what, I'm glad I didn't fork out for the bloody 4K. I've got a beautiful slipcover, but the story is pants, in my opinion. A lot of people do agree with me. It's one of those Marmite movies, but I do believe it got a lot of accolades, didn't it? In Hollywood, was it 1994 when it came out? But that's said to me, well, what's all the fuss about with this Pulp Fiction? There's nothing in it. The story was non-linear, and I don't like my movies to be non-linear, guys. I like them to be a straightforward story. I don't like bloody flashbacks in movies. I don't like them jump cuts and that, you know. And I was waiting for something really good to happen. The only really dramatic part was where Uma Thurman was sniffing the drugs and she started choking. You thought she was going to die, and he rushes at his mates, doesn't he? The fellow with the beard and that, you know. And then it cuts then to she says that joke, doesn't she, about the ketchup and the tomatoes and that, when she got better and she's saying goodnight to John Travolta. Then it cuts to the Bruce Willis one. And at that point, I said to him, I'm having no more of this. I'm switching her off. So, yeah, so no more Pulp Fiction for me. It was terrible. Anyway, back to horror. Amy, have you seen Knock at the Cabin? I have. I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it at all, Amy. No, it wasn't for me. Right. Chestnut 7, Pretty Poison was the first film I recorded on my new VHS recorder in 1981. Oh, right, yeah, good movie, Pretty Poison. And as I say, guys, if any of you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. If you like Anthony Perkins, check it out. Amy's saying Barbarian is on Disney Plus. All right. Kevin's saying North Sea Hijack is good with Anthony Perkins. Isn't Roger Moore in that one as well, Kev? Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I like both actors. Amy's asking me, have you seen the Wendigo film Antlers? Do you know what? That was on my radar, that, Amy, a couple of months ago. I seen this movie called Antlers, and everybody was saying, you know, he was saying pretty good things about it. But there was a couple of bad reviews as well. So I was going to get it, but then I read a couple more. Well, I watched a couple more reviews on YouTube, and I thought to myself, a lot of people said it was a bit slow, you know, and it was a bit far-fetched. So I didn't bother getting it. But that's not to say I won't check it out at some point, and you know, some other time in the future. So if I see it on Amazon Prime for say what, I don't know, $1.99 or $2.99, I might check it out. But yeah, so there you go. Am I dead yet? Saying I'd say folk like Donald Sutherland are maybe the closest actors to the horror greats. I like Donald Sutherland in The Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He was good in that. He was good in that one with Stephanie Powers in, where the mother kept a prisoner. The mother was a religious fanatic, her boyfriend's mother. Anybody who's seen that one? Die, Die, My Darling, Die. That's its other title, starring Tallulah Bankhead. He was great in that. He's one of the sons, wasn't he? And he was in that one, wasn't he? The Bell Witch, American Haunting. He made some good films, Donald Sutherland, yeah. He was in Kelly's Heroes, wasn't he? With Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I do like Donald Sutherland, yeah. Amy's saying there's also a Grinch horror movie. Oh, right. Amy's saying, will you see The Killing Tree from the director of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? Well, if it's anything like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I think I'll pass on that, Amy. Amy again, will you see the Dear David film? Well, it depends. If I get a chance to see the trailer and it kindles me interest, I might check it out. Amy again, Spiral was not that great. I didn't like Spiral, as I said before. No, I didn't like it at all. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying Dante Divine comedy. Basically, a guy's lost in the woods where Virgil assists him through Purgatorio Inferno, where he encounters horrors and goes through the 9 circles, including giants and 3-headed Lucifer. Oh, right. Well, sounds interesting. Amy, it's not just writers, it's now actors, right? Amy's saying the Black Demon was boring. Yeah, somehow I don't fancy that Black Demon, so I might pass on that. So if any of you guys seen any good DVDs or Blu-rays this week, any good pickups, yeah, feel free to discuss. Always very interested to hear what you picked up, you know, this week and that. I'm getting that, what's the name on Saturday when I go shopping, Blu-ray hunting, The Curse 2. I think it's on 88 Films. So I like the first Curse movie. So if you haven't seen that, guys, you might like to pick that one up. Yeah. So I'll probably pick that up when I go over to Liverpool on Saturday, The Curse 2. I got that Christopher Lee one as well, The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadison on 88 Films as well. So I've got that as well. So that'll be in my next pickups. I mean, next horror pickups video. Amy's saying, "Have you seen Jeepers Creepers Reborn? It was absolutely terrible. That's why I've avoided it. I've heard that many really bad reviews about that Jeepers Creepers that I say, oh no, doesn't sound for me." To tell you the truth, Amy, I'm not really a huge fan of the Jeepers Creepers franchise. Even the first one, I thought it was ridiculous when he went down, didn't he, into the hole, and that, knowing full well, you know, the dangers, like the inherent dangers of venturing down, the creeper and that, at large and that. So I thought that was a very, very bad mistake. You know, one of the worst horror tropes I've ever seen. And the second one was abysmal. So third one was worse again. So yeah, no more Jeepers Creepers for me. Although I do like the song Jeepers Creepers, Where'd You Get Those Peepers? Amy's saying again, what's the worst Jack the Ripper film? Do you know what? I can't think. There's been that many, hasn't there? I can't really think of one, Aim. No, I can't really think of one. That was a good one. The Hands of the Ripper, the Hammer one, that was a good one. And the one with Michael Caine in, that was a good one. That one, that Hammer film, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, that had like a kind of Jack the Ripper elements, because like when Ralph Bates' character Dr. Jekyll turned into Sister Hyde, she went on a killing spree, didn't she? If you've seen the movie, guys, you know what I mean. She went on a killing spree, didn't she, throughout London, Victorian London, so that was kind of reminiscent of a Jack the Ripper kind of story. But I can't really think of a bad Jack the Ripper film. Can any of you guys? Amy says, "What's the worst Dr. Jekyll film?" Again, I can't really think. I can't. A hand at the moment, anyway. I can't think of any. The Frederick March one was okay. It was not one of my favourites ones. It was okay. Yeah, it was a kind of a bit of a love story as well. That one, wasn't it? One of my favourites is I Monster, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I do love that one. That's great. That one. The makeup's very good in that. Spencer Tracy one's okay. But yeah, I can't really think of a really bad Dr. Jekyll film. That was a good one where Anthony Perkins made, where he played like Dr. Jekyll. I got the Arrow one of that. I forget the name of it, but he was very good in that. Yeah. Brian's saying to Graham Powell, Penny Dreadful was good. David Warner was in it as Van Helsing for 1 or 2 episodes. I love David Warner in The Omen. He was great as the photographer, wasn't he? And he was good in the Peter Cushing from Beyond the Grave, where he bought that mirror, didn't he? And was telling to kill, and He's seen the image in the mirror, didn't he? And the image kept coming up, kill for me. Yeah, very good that. Oh, he's great, David Warner. Very versatile actor. Amy's asking me, have you seen Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight? That was me. Do you know what? That was my least favourite Tales from the Crypt movie, Amy. I preferred Bordello of Blood, the one with the vampires, to Demon Knight. I've watched Demon Knight a few times. I couldn't get into it. Did you know there's a third one called Ritual that's about voodoo? I don't know if you've seen that one or not. It's got a great twist. Ritual. So they made 3 Tales from the Crypt movies. So you've got Bordello of Blood, my favourites, Demon Knight, and Ritual. Highly recommend Ritual. It's quite good, yeah. Not as good as Bordello of Blood, though. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures says, I can't stand Bruce Willis at all, but I do like Hostage 2005. I couldn't tell you the first thing about that because I haven't seen it. I'm not really into him at all, Bruce Willis. Chestnut 7 is saying, A Study in Terror and The Hands of the Ripper. Both good films. Yeah, I'd certainly second that. Amy's asking me, have you seen American Horror Story? If you mean the TV series, yeah, it got a bit down, like as it went on. That it started off good and that, and it starts just sort of plummeted down and down. So I didn't bother watching anymore. Yeah, they made a right mess of that as well. Vinny's saying, "Hi, Alan. You okay, Vin? You're right about The Deep. It came out in 1977 with Nick Nolte and the lovely Jacqueline Bisset. Yeah, I thought it was 1977. Yeah, Donna Summer sang Down Deep Inside, didn't she? Yeah. She had another good hit that year. Well, two other good hits, I Feel Love and I Remember Yesterday. Yeah, three great hits she had in 1977, Donna Summer. Very sadly missed. Amy, have you seen that Steven Seagal vampire horror movie, Against the Dark? No, haven't seen it. 80s horror fans saying, have you seen Bloody Birthday, Alan? Really good 80s horror. I've got that in my collection. Yeah, it's a good one, that. I like that one. Yeah, good one, that. Amy's asking me, will you see Cobweb? Well, depends if I like the trailer and, you know, the synopsis. Yeah. Amy's saying it's a Blumhouse Dracula film, right? Amy's saying the invitation was crap. It was too much romance and the horror is spoiled from the trailer. Oh, right. So it doesn't sound my kind of movie then. I don't like slow moving horror stories, guys. I like that bloody Renfield. I thought it was terrible. It really was, you know. They put too much. The problem with that, in my opinion, they put too much comedy in, and as I say, they make Dracula. They gave him like rather than just having the two fangs, which he did have later on in the movie. He filled his mouth with it, all the fangs, the whole top row of his teeth was fangs and that. So when he spoke, he sounded a bit like off, you know. So and yeah, the comedy and that, you know, I didn't like the bloody fight scenes and that. So yeah, didn't like it at all. Amy, Jack Earl Haley, that's the guy that played Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Yeah, that's right. 80s horror fans saying Fright Night has to be #1 vampire film. I love Fright Night. Yeah, Roddy McDowall, and oh yeah, having the neighbor next door as a vampire. Oh, I like the part in the disco as well. Yeah, and the part where he goes to Roddy McDowall as the TV host for helping that, and he's reluctant at first, isn't he? Yeah, I love Fright Night, but I didn't like the sequel. I thought it was awful, really bad. But yeah, I love the original. I'm a great fan of Roddy McDowall. Great, good actor. He was good in The Legend of Hell House when he played the psychic medium. Yeah, and of course he played Galen, didn't he, in the Planet of the Apes 1974-5 TV series, didn't he? And he was also in the Planet of the Apes movies as well, wasn't he? Yeah, and he was in Lassie, wasn't he? He was a boy. Yeah, he's good, Roddy McDowall. I tell you another good movie he's in, guys. A movie called It, not the one with Pennywise. The one he made is it 1965 or 66, where he takes charge of this goal and what he finds in that in the ruins and that, and it's got like a scroll, and he sort of like manipulates it to kill people who he hates. That's a good one. That you can get it on a double bill with the what's the name, the one with Carol Lindley in oh god, what's it called? The Shuttered Room. So yeah, you send off to Amazon America, you'll get the two movies on the one. Yeah, both great movies then. Gothic Rose 82. What do you think? What do you think to the vampires? An interview with the vampire. As I said before, Gothic is not one of my favorite vampire movies. You know, I'm not really into those Anne Rice vampire yarns. And yeah, I like me vampires to be brutal and really scary, like Christopher Lee, you know, and Nosferatu. I don't believe you should pepper vampire movies with their scenes of romance and softness and, you know, pin-up poster boys. You know, I like me vampires to be monsters, as Dracula was indeed in the original novel. If you've read the novel Dracula, guys, you'll know just how much of a monster Count Dracula was. You know, he was no pin-up boy. Oh no way. What he did as well to that poor woman's baby and that, you know, and Jonathan Harker. Oh yeah, and his three brides in the castle. He's a real monster. Yeah, then that's how Dracula should be. So if there's any film producers watching this, please take note. If you're going to make a Dracula movie, make him monstrous. Don't make him a bloody pin-up poster boy. We've had enough of that. So there you go. Amy's saying the Sharknado 6 includes the Sharknado 6 includes time travel and dinosaurs, right? Yeah. As I say, I haven't seen any of the Sharknado movies, Amy, in entirety, but I might pick that box set up. Amy's saying, have you seen Iron Sky? I have seen Iron Sky. Yeah, that's like the Nazis, aren't they? Like the ship in space. I didn't think too much of that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Richard Brown, have you seen Frankenstein's Army? Do you know what? I don't think I've seen that one. Sure, I haven't seen that one. If I have, I most probably didn't like it, because it didn't stick in my mind. I've seen a hell of a lot of Frankenstein movies, but I don't think I've seen that one. Amy's asking me, have you heard about Escape Room 2? It's funny you should mention Escape Room, because I had the two. I had part 1 and part 2 on DVD, and I didn't like them. I thought they were corny, yeah. Especially the second one on the train. So, yeah, I got rid of them. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Brian's saying, 280s horror fan. I totally agree. Fright Night is a great film. It is. Yeah, fantastic. Love Fright Night. Amy's asking me, have you seen The Cellar? A ghost movie that scares you with Matt. What's that? Maths, is it? You mean here, Amy? I have seen it. I've seen a movie called The Cellar. Wasn't there a few movies called The Cellar? An old one and a new one. But I have seen one called The Cellar. I don't remember too much about it, but I have seen one called The Cellar. Amy's saying, have you seen The Birds 2 Land's End? Yeah, I didn't like it. It was a disappointment, yeah. Amy's saying the new Wolf Creek is coming out in 2030. Sure, it's not 2050. If it ever comes out, I think I've got a horrible feeling we're never going to see a Wolf Creek 3. I could just feel it in my bones. We're not going to see a Wolf Creek 3. It's taking ages and ages and ages to come to fruition, isn't it? So I don't think I've got me doubts. I'll be very surprised, because by the time you bring him out, it'd be really old, won't he? The character, won't be able to run around. He won't be able to run around much with his. Now this is a knife. Amy, have you seen The House That Jack Built? No, haven't seen it. Is it any good? Hey, Alan, have you heard about the Jewish horror movie, The Vigil? No, I haven't, Amy. No. I'll have to check that out. Amy's saying, have you seen Infinity Pool? Do you know what? I was going to pick that up the other week. I was in HMV in Liverpool, and I seen this movie called Infinity Pool. Got that girl in it, isn't it? Out of Scream. What's her name? The girl, not Scream. What's the name? The trilogy. X. Yeah, she's in that, isn't she? Well, what's her name? I forget her name. But yeah, I was going to pick it up. Yeah, but Goth, isn't it? Is it Mia Goth? Mia Goth. Yeah. I might actually. I might rent that out actually on Amazon. Yeah. Pearl was the movie I was thinking about, guys, with Mia Goth in the prequel to X. Brian's asking me, what did you think of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow? Oh, that's the Headless Horseman, isn't it? It's a good horror film. I have seen a movie on TV many years ago called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but the one you're talking about, is that the one with Christopher Lee in? Because the one I saw on the TV didn't have Christopher Lee in, so that must be a different one altogether. I do remember enjoying it, actually, yeah, the Headless Horseman. But I'll have to check the Christopher Lee one out. I believe that's good as well. Amy's saying, no, the first horror movie made was The House of the Devil, which was released in 1896, right? That's a long time ago, isn't it? The House of the Devil, the modern House of the Devil was good. I enjoyed that one, when she goes to babysit and the parents and into the occult. I love that one. Richard Brown, Sleepy Hollow was a homage to Hammer films. Yeah, believe it was. Brian's saying to Richard Brown, Christopher Lee has a cameo in it, right? Yeah, I knew he was in it. Yeah. Amy's asking me, hey Alan, have you seen Dashcam? No, I haven't seen that one, Amy. Have you seen it? is any good. We've got Dr. Impossible here. You okay, Doctor? Thanks for stopping by. Infinity Pool was the biggest pile of cack I've seen. Group Infinity with evil dredge rise, and you'll have perfect SHIT night in. All right. Yeah, so you didn't like Infinity Pool then. Group Infinity with evil dredge rise. All right. Richard Brown to Brian Gilson. Yeah, Tim Burton is a big fan. Right. Am I dead yet saying you thought Pulp Fiction was boring? First time I've heard that. Maybe it's been built up too much because you've not seen it in all these years it's been out. I just didn't like it. I did not like it at all. I thought it was a real bore fest, and it, you know, that's fine by others if they like it. You know, that's what makes it good. Discussing movies, everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody to their own taste. It wasn't for me. The story was all over. There wasn't even a story to it. It was just the two bodyguards. They burst into the house and that, you know, and put Samuel L. Jackson pointing the gun at the guy and that, you know, and he's taking his food, wasn't he? And that, and then the girl, oh yeah, it wasn't for me. That Pulp Fiction, just didn't like it. Brian Gilson, Richard Brown. I'm looking forward to I'm not a fan of that either. Beetlejuice, don't like that. Amy, hey Alan, have you seen Carnosaur? It's a Jurassic Park rip. I've seen it many years ago. Yeah, I rented it house on VHS. Yeah, no, not a bad movie. Vinny's saying, hi Alan, what do you think about Don't Look Now, made in the 1970s with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie? The only thing I liked about Don't Look Now, Vin, was the ending. I thought the ending was real crazy, you know, so unexpected. But the movie itself, I thought was very, very slow, and the love scenes and that, you know, yeah, it was very, very slow for me. It was too slow. So, but I did like the ending. You know, I thought it was a real sock in the jaw ending, if you will. Yeah. Right, Richard. Oh, sorry, guys. The comments are going a bit weird. Richard Brown, Alan. So you missed the monster at the end of Pulp Fiction? Oh, he gets shot in the face, does he, or something? Is that right? Doesn't he shoot him? John Travolta shoots himself in the face, from what I've heard. Yeah, I couldn't take any more, Richard. I had to switch it off. I was bored out of my mind, and all that bad language as well. There was no need for it. No need for it. 80s horror fan, 88. Brian Gilson, definitely Beetlejuice too. Can't wait. Yeah, well, if you like Beetlejuice, be right up your street. That. Amy, have you seen the Foo Fighters horror movie Studio 666? No, I haven't. No. Here's a movie, guys, I'd like to run past you. Have any of you guys seen a supernatural movie called Gone Jammy Asylum? One or two of the YouTubers recommended it to me, so I've sent for it. Basically, it's based on a real haunted asylum. I think it's in Japan. And this TV crew go in there, and it's supposed to be very, very good. A bit like Grave Encounter, so I'm waiting for that to come. So, excuse me, when I've watched it, I'll do a review of that. Yeah, Gone Jammy Asylum, it's called. Amy's asking me, have you seen Searching with John Cho? No, haven't seen that one, Amy. Richard's asking me, he's saying to Brian Gilson, I love Beetlejuice, really like Tim Burton. Yeah, I know the movie's got a big, big fan base. Amy's saying Antlers was boring and depressing. Yeah, that's why, as I say, I heard a couple of people saying it was a bit slow and interminable. So that kind of put me off. Yeah, so I don't think it's highly unlikely I'll be seeing fit to check that out at any stage. So I'll pass on that. Amy's asking me, have you seen 2001 Maniacs? Yeah, I've got both. I've got the 1960s one by Herschel Gordon Lewis, which I love. I absolutely love. And I've got the remake with Robert Englund in. That's not bad. It's not bad, but I do love that 1960s one. I think it's a fantastic movie. I like the ending as well. Yeah, it's brutal, wasn't it? Very brutal. Yeah, I love 2001 Maniacs. I love that one. I'm a big fan of Herschel Gordon Lewis, the godfather of gore. Yeah, I like his. Some of his movies, granted, haven't been really up to scratch, but most of them have. And I'm a huge fan of Herschel Gordon Lewis. Got all most of his titles on Arrow Video. Richard Brown, Robert Englund, yeah. Amy, the producer of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, made 200 other films. Oh, I didn't know that. He's been very prolific, hasn't he? Brian Gilson, 80s horror fan, Richard Brown. I'm hoping it's as good as the first one. Tim Burton is a great director, yeah. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is a 1920s classic. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a silent German expressionism. That's right. Yeah, it is. Also, the first film to utilize surrealistic production design, based in 1973, starring a great classic silence actor, Conrad Betz. Yeah, I love The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Not everybody's cup of tea. If you don't like silent movies, yeah, you might like it, but I loved it. Yeah. One of those movies that's got multi-layers on it. You know, you can interpret it like different ways. Amy's saying, I don't recommend the Dear David trailer. It's like Uma, where it's so ridiculous, right? Amy's saying, have you seen the Hostel trilogy? I have seen the Hostel trilogy. I liked the first two, but I didn't like the third one. I thought that was really, yucky, that. What he done in that. Oh, I couldn't watch that eating me dinner. I couldn't watch that eating me dinner. No way. I think you know what I mean. Amy's saying there's the Curse 3 and 4. Yeah, they made 2 more Curse movies, and I hope they bring those out on Blu-ray. Is Christopher Lee? I think Christopher Lee's in the third one, isn't he? I don't think he's in the second one, if my memory serves me correctly, but I think he's in the third one. I'm sure he's in the third one. Christopher Lee. I love the first one where the thing comes out of space and it purple and it turns everybody mad, doesn't it? You know, and it kills all the animals and that. You know, I love that one. It's based on the H.P. Lovecraft story, isn't it? The color out of space. I didn't like the remake of that. It's Nicolas Cage. I didn't like that, but I loved that first one. Loved it. Richard Brown saying, I watched Dream Demon and The Two Witches. Both Arrow Films Blu-rays, loved them both. I love The Two Witches. I do like that one, but I wasn't a huge fan of Dream Demon. But I love The Two Witches. I thought it was very good. Yeah, we are very creepy. Amy's asking me, have you seen any Russian horror movies? Well, it's funny you should say that. I had one just the other night called, what was it called? Was it Sputnik? It's about this astronaut, this Russian astronaut. He goes into space and something happens to him while he's up there. It's a kind of a space oddity, if you will, in the words of the late great David Bowie, a real space odyssey. He comes back down to Earth and he's something right. He's not right. He's been infected by this alien. But it's a very, very boring movie. A lot of talking it and that. I switched it off. Yeah, I couldn't take any more. It's one of those movies that nothing happened in it and that. Yeah, so I don't recommend that one, guys. Don't. Sputnik, yeah, that's the one. Amy's asking me, have you seen the Johnny Depp Jack the Ripper film? Is that the one called Jack's Back? Is that the one, Jack's Back? If that's the one you mean, I do remember enjoying that one. Doesn't it come into modern day America or Britain? I'm sure is that the one you mean? Johnny Depp, Jack's Back. Amy, I just spoke about that one, Amy, Sputnik. Yeah, I didn't like it about the astronauts. Yeah, didn't like it. Am I dead yet? Some people don't like the Johnny Depp version of the Jack the Ripper film, right? Amy, Ripper Untold. Oh, right, yeah. Not too sure, you know. From Hell, that's the one. From Hell, yeah. That's the one I mean, From Hell. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Yeah, it was good. And Richard Brown's elucidating on the Anthony Perkins movie I referred to earlier, where he played Dr. Jekyll, Edge of Sanity. That's the one I was thinking of, guys, when I said about Anthony Perkins playing Dr. Jekyll. That is the movie pertaining to what I said, Edge of Sanity. Great movie. I've got the Arrow edition of that. Oh, look, the picture quality is fantastic. Yeah. So if you like Anthony Perkins, if you like your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hydes, get that one and put it in your collection. It's great. Amy's saying to my dad, yes, it was called From Hell. Yeah, that's right. And there's another Jack the Ripper film called The Limehouse Golem. I saw that one. They didn't like that. I got that. I bought that from Tesco's a couple of years ago. Yeah, I didn't like it. Terrible it was. All right then, guys. So we got just under 20 minutes to go. So I'm finishing at 10 o'clock. So if you want to ask me any questions, like, I'll try to get through as many as I can before I close at 10. So I've enjoyed it tonight. Thanks very much. Yeah. So ask me anything at all within reason, So yeah. So I'm on till 10. Really enjoyed it, guys. Yeah. Thanks for turning up. Some great questions here. Right. Amy's saying, have you seen the Monkey's Paw film starring Stephen Lang? I love the Monkey's Paw. I love the original Monkey's Paw story written by W. Jacobs. There's been many variations on it over the years, both in film and in books. But I do remember watching that one, and I do remember not being too keen on that. No, I thought it was a bit slow, and it wasn't scary at all. But I'll tell you what's a very good version of the Monkey's Paw. There's a TV series what Orson Welles made in 1973 to 74 called Orson Welles' Great Mysteries. And within that series, the Monkey's Paw, they're only about half an hour, guys, half an hour segments. And I think it's series 1. The Monkey's Paw is featured in that. It's very creepy the way they've done it, the Sergeant Major, the old soldier, having the Monkey's Paw on that and talking about it to the couple, the elderly couple. And they take it and that, and they wish the son back from the dead and that. Oh, yeah. I won't tell you too much. It's very creepy. Yeah. Then that's one of the best versions, that, guys. In the Orson Welles Great Mysteries. You can get that DVD on Amazon, and Orson Welles Great Mysteries Part 2. It wasn't on very long, yeah. So I highly recommend that Orson Welles Greatest Mysteries. He used to come on in a black fedora, smoking a cigar and that, in a black coat. So... Amy's saying, I have seen Ritual. Oh, have you? What did you think of it? Did you get the Blu-ray or the DVD? Yam's saying, I've had nearly 40 pickups today. Charity shops, 8 VHS, 17 DVDs, 2 Blu-rays, which cost 11 quid. From CX, 8 Blu-rays, which cost £18.50. And HMV, Rocky 4, 4K Evil Dead Rise Blu-ray, which cost £35. Oh, God, you've had some good pickups there, haven't you, Yam? Yeah. I bet you're looking forward to watching them. Yeah, some great pickups there, yeah. You can get some bargains in those charity shops, can't you? Yeah, I got one of the Planet of the Apes movies the other week in Chester for £1. Yeah, so, they're great, the charity shops. You pick up some good bargains in there. Amy's asking me, have you seen The Black Cat, which is a spin-off of Suspiria? Yeah. If you mean it's the one with Patrick McGee in, yeah, I've seen that one. It's good. Is that the one where he's experimenting with sound, isn't he, in the graveyard and that? And doesn't this woman, isn't she kind of a reporter? She comes, doesn't she, investigating? Yeah, that's the one you mean. Yeah, it's a good one, that. I like Patrick McGee. Amy again, hey Alan, have you seen the House of Wax remake starring Paris Hilton? Saw it years ago, Amy. I don't remember too much about it, but I love the Vincent Price one from 1953. The original House of Wax, yeah, which I believe was made was actually made in 3D. It was on the pictures. But yeah, I love that one, but I don't remember too much about that. I like the Scream Factory edition of that. I've seen YouTubers talking about it and that, and a lovely slipcover. So I might pick that up at some stage. Amy's asking me, hey Alan, have you seen House? It's a good comedy horror, but it is a comedy. I had the box set of them, Amy, a few years ago, and I couldn't get into them. I think it was because the fact that they put too much comedy in, and I thought that one with the Vietnam soldier in, that was awful. That and the cowboy, yeah. As I say, a comedy, it's got to be very well done, and very carefully done before I'll accept it in a horror movie. I think it can tarnish, completely destroy the foundations of what could have been a great horror movie. Minus, if it's taken out the comedy, it could have been a great horror classic, but the comedy, once they pour all comedy over it, it dampens it for me. Amy's saying, have you seen 30 Days of Night? Is that the one with the vampires in the snow? I love that one. It's great, isn't it? Yeah. I wasn't too keen on the sequel, though, but I love that one. Very original vampires, yeah. Very, very snowy setting. And if you've been watching my video, guys, you'll know how much I love the snow. Lovely snowy setting. I'm definitely not a summer person at all. I hate the bloody heat. And, but yeah, I like 30 Days of Night. I like me horror movies with a snowy setting, you know, The Shining, 30 Days of Night, The Children, you know. My mum wants me to pick up one for the weekend called it's a Detox. Sylvester Stallone, he goes after a serial killer and it's set in snow. So I'm looking forward to picking that one up, Detox, yeah. So, yeah, I love snowy settings in me horror movies. That's another good one as well, The Dead of Winter. That's got a good some good snowstorm settings in that one, The Dead of Winter. Amy's asking me, have you seen Sleepwalkers, the Stephen King one? Yeah. Wasn't a bad little movie, that. Yeah, Sleepwalkers, yeah. They're like sort of like cat creatures, aren't they? Stroke vampires, yeah. Don't mind Sleepwalkers. Amy's asking me, have you seen the Fright Night remake? The Fright Night remake sequel to... I did like the sequel to the modern Fright Night. The first Fright Night remake, I think I rented that out years ago. I don't remember too much about it, but I think I've got that sequel too somewhere in my collection. It's a woman vampire, isn't it? Yeah, and she stalk them on the trains and that, and then she takes them to a castle, doesn't she? It's a good one, that. But getting back to the first one, sure I've seen that, rented it out. I don't remember too much about it though. Amy sequel. I've seen the Fright Nights, the original Fright Night sequel, Fright Night 2, and as I said before, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Not as good as the first one. Amy saying, have you heard about Hell House LLC or Hell House Limited Liability Company? Yeah, I've heard a couple of people saying it's a good movie, that. Yeah, so I'll have to check that one out. Isn't it kind of an anthology, a horror anthology movie, Amy? Brian Gilson, Amy, House is a good horror comedy. My favourite is House 2, right? Amy, Brian Gilson, House 2 is not horror, it's comedy. Amy, have you seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? I've seen that one. Yeah, again, I wasn't too impressed. It wasn't one of my favourite horror anthologies. My favourite horror anthologies are the Amicus ones, you know, Tales from the Crypt, which is my number one favourite one. My favourite horror portmanteau movie. The House That Dripped Blood, Madhouse, not Madhouse, Asylum, the From Beyond the Grave with Peter Cushing as the shop, Torture Garden, and the one they made in 1945, Dead of Night. That's a good one, the very first there. Well, some people say it was the first real horror anthology. I'm sure there was a couple of others made before that one, though. But yeah, a lot of subsequent portmanteau horror films took their inspiration from The Dead of Night. It's a great one, especially the part with the ventriloquist doll that comes alive. Oh my days, that is real creepy. That comes alive in the cell and that. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That. Amy, have you heard about Tokyo Gore Police? I have heard about Tokyo Gore Police, but I haven't actually seen it, Amy. So I'll have to check that out. Didn't he make 3 of them? Amy, have you seen the VHS films? I've seen one and I didn't like it. Yeah, like a kind of a found footage. Yeah. There's one I've got there called The ABCs of Death. I've got to check that out. Yeah. I got the Blu-ray of that. Yeah, it's supposed to be different short stories of different ways people get killed in films and that. So I'll check that out. Yeah, I might do a review of it once I've watched it. All right, guys, we've got 10 minutes to go. So, as I say, I'll whisk through as many comments as I can before I close for the night. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it tonight. So, ask me anything at all, you know, about horror and that, you know, I'll be perfectly willing to answer any queries you've got, discuss your favourite horror movies and so forth. Amy, have you seen Drag Me to Hell? That's one of my all-time favourite modern horror movies. I absolutely love that movie. I've watched it many times and I enjoy it. Every time I watch it, I enjoy it. So that is one of the great modern horror movies. Yeah, all really creepy. Right from when the old witch comes into the office, you know, and the girl won't extend a loan and that, and she kisses her. Oh God! And Mrs. What's the woman? What's the old woman's name? Is it Mrs. Guinness or something? Oh God, she's creepy. Yeah. Oh, I love Drag Me to Hell. Very, very sad ending as well. Very sad ending. Brian Gilson, to Yin Yang, moving pictures, awesome pickups. Yeah, I'd certainly echo that. Richard Brown, P.I. is a horror film about maths, a cosmic horror film. All right. Amy's asking me, have you seen Pandorum? No, I haven't seen that one, Amy. Am I dead? Yes. Well, what's happened with Wolf Creek actor John Jarrett? Some woman was accusing him of indecent assault. Oh, you're joking? Indecent assault or something? Is that why he hasn't? We haven't seen him like the last couple of years. I didn't know that. Oh, flipping heck! Some woman was accusing him of indecent assault. Well, maybe it's ruined his career. I'll have to right, check up on that. I didn't know that. Amy, Mia Goth, yeah, Impale and X, yeah. Chestnut 7, The Beast in the Cellar with Beryl Reid and Flora Robson. I used to love that movie. Watched it a couple of times on the late night horror, the Friday night horror movie and that. Yeah, I like the Blu-ray of that, but it's very, very expensive at the moment, isn't it? Is it Severin that's released a Blu-ray of that? I like Beast in the Cellar. I'll have to pick that up. Amy, am I dead? Yes, I think you're thinking Sion Sono. All right. Amy's saying Sleepy Hollow as Johnny Depp. Am I dead yet? Amy, Sion Sono. Amy, have you seen Fear 2023? It's the most generic film of the year. No, haven't seen it, Amy. No. Kevin's saying Sleepy Hollow was very good. Yeah. It's based on the story, isn't it? The novel, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Amy's saying dash cam was terrible. Sure, it has some good effects, but the character is so far right. It's like a spoof. Oh, right. I haven't heard of that one. Amy's asking me, have you seen the 2006 horror movie, The Pumpkin Carver? I don't think I have, It rings a bell. The title's familiar, but I don't think I've seen the movie. Kevin's saying, has anybody seen Four Dogs Playing Poker? No, I haven't seen that one. Four Dogs Playing Poker. Very unusual title, huh? Did they howl them out of town? Did they? Sorry about that. I couldn't resist it. I suppose they called them in the end. All right, I'll shut up now. I'll have to watch out for that one. Hope it's not a bit woof. Oh, no, that's it now, guys. That's enough of the corny jokes now. Right, so let's move on then. Brian Gilson to Kevin. I totally agree. Sleepy Hollow has a great gothic atmosphere in it. Yeah. Amy, I've heard about Battle Royale film. I've never watched them. They've got a big fan base, them movies, haven't they? Amy, yes, Gone and Jam Asylum was very good. Oh, that's good to know. I'm looking forward to watching that. Vinny's saying, hi, Alan. What do you think of the Amityville Horror? It came out in 1979 and part 2, which came out in 1982. I thought part 2 was more scary than the original. The problem with the original one, Vin, is I thought it was a bit slow. I've actually got the 4K of that. I bought it a couple of weeks ago. But having said that, I thought it was very, very slow. Yeah, the one with Margot Kidder and James Brolin. I prefer the second one. I thought it was very creepy, that. But I do love the remake. I prefer the remake, actually, to the original, the 2000. It was a 2005 or 2006 when he's on the roof. I thought that was very good, that one. Yeah, I thought I liked that better than the original Amityville Horror. Amy's asking me, have you seen any Amityville films after the first one? Amityville 2, Amityville 3, the sequel, the remake, sorry. I've seen a couple of these ones that are getting churned out now. Amityville Dollhouse and that. I had the box set of that, and they were all bought. The films weren't very good. Amityville Dollhouse, Amityville It's About Time. I didn't like them at all. And of course, I've seen a couple of other ones as well. Amityville Scarecrow. Not as good as the original, the 2006 remake and Amityville 2. Amy's asking me, have you seen the Bad Seed remake? No, I haven't even seen the original Bad Seed. That's on my radar, that, to add to my collection. Chestnut 7, Ginny, I like both Amityville Horror and Amityville 2, The Possession, yeah. Amy's asking me, hey, Alan, have you seen the Cabinet of Curiosities? No. Is that similar to the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Amy? Amy, have you heard about Tales from the Hood? I have heard about Tales from the Hood. I've heard about Tales from the Hood too. It's mostly, isn't that? It's mostly set in the black, is in the black community in the hood, the ghetto in ghettos in America. It's like an anthology movie, isn't it? Yeah, I've heard a few things about that. A few mixed reviews. Kevin's saying, have you seen Guru, the Mad Monk? No. It's a Z-grade film, but much better than Birdemic. I haven't seen that one, Kev. No. I do like talking about Mad Monks. I do like Christopher Lee in Rasputin, the Mad Monk. I think that's a cracking movie, that. Amy, have you seen Howling 2? Your Sister is a Werewolf. I've got it in my collection. I always remember that one with the part where she rips her top off over and over again, doesn't she, at the end of the movie? Yeah, and Christopher Lee's in it, isn't he? Plays a goodie for once. Don't think it's as good as the first one, the first Howling. It's okay, but it's a bit, it's a bit, what's the word? Hokey. Yeah. Vinny, hi Alan. What's about Lisa and the Devil? Oh, the one with Telly Savalas and Elka Summer. Yeah, not really. I have watched that a couple of times. I didn't really like it. Thought it was a bit slow, Dad at the base said it's from hell. Yeah, the Jack the Ripper movie. Yam Yam's Moving Pictures is saying, whoops, Butterfingers, I don't even eat butter, haha, keyboard error. I meant Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is based in 1793. Yeah, good film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Not for everybody. If you don't like the very, very old silent movies, I don't think you'll enjoy it. But I enjoyed it. The Eureka Blu-ray is fantastic. Amy's asking me, have you seen Tourist Trap? Is that the one with Chuck Connors in when he's got all the dolls? He's got all the dolls in his house. I think I've seen that one. He's a psychopath. Doesn't he start off being like a sheriff? It's a good one, that Tourist Trap. Yeah, Chuck Connors used to be in Brandon and the Rifleman. He plays a psycho. Yeah, it's a good one. Kevin saying, I enjoyed The Raven that was made recently. Oh, you made a recent one after The Raven. I did like the old version with I didn't like the one with the three magicians in. I didn't like that, but I did like The Raven with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi from the 1930s. I loved that one, but I didn't like the one with the Vincent Price and Boris Karloff, and it was a Basil Rathbone. They were three magicians, weren't they? I didn't like that one, but I did like the Boris Karloff one, the old one with Lugosi. Amy's saying, have you seen The Pale Blue Eye? No, I haven't seen that one. Quite a few movies here, Amy, you're rolling off. I'll have to check out. I've never heard of in my life. Brian, to Kevin, William Wardle, John Cusack was good as Edgar Allan Poe in it, right? Okay, guys, 2 minutes to go. So as I say, I'll try and get through as many comments as I can before I close for the night. And so I hope to be back again next Thursday at 8 o'clock. So thanks for coming. I've enjoyed it. Vinny, hi, what's your opinion on Horror Express 1972? I love it. I've got it in my collection. I've watched it many times. Very original movie. It goes down a different path to the path you're expecting when you first watch the movie. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and a cameo by Telly Savalas. Fantastic. What more could you ask for? Great movie. One of the best 1970s movies, in my honest opinion. Dad at the base. I know it's the one with Carol Munro, not the Fulci film, right? Yam Yam's Moving Pictures. 2005's House of Wax is actually my top 10 favourite horrors of all time. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I do like the original, as I say, with Vincent Price, but I'll have to check that one out. Amy, no, it's not. It's a found footage film, Hell House. All right. Not really a great fan of found footage. Christian Bell, hey Alan, seeing the new Exorcist trailer, and honestly, I can't see this being good, sadly, my pal. Yeah, there's two girls that's possessed. I thought it was going to be a boy. Didn't they say first it was going to be a boy? So suddenly they changed it to two girls. I don't know how that works out. But yeah, I'm not really impressed. Am I dead? Yes. Alan, are you sick of hearing about all this Barbenheimer stuff? You mean that new movie with Barbie and I see what you mean. Barbie and Oppenheimer merged, reads Barbenheimer. Yeah, they're going mad on those two movies, aren't they? I just had a look at the trailers tonight. I'm not really don't think it'd be my cup of tea, to be honest. I think Barbie's more for the kind of demographic, the teenage girl demographic, if you ask me. I don't know what you guys think. And everywhere's pink. The only thing that was missing was the Pink Panther. Yeah, so There you go. Yeah. All right, then, guys. I'm going to love you and leave us all now. As I say every week, thanks for turning up. I've enjoyed myself, talking about horror movies. And Amy certainly gave me some titles there I'm going to have to check out. So, yeah, nice having you along, Amy. Yeah. I'll have a look at your channel if you've got one. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it, guys. Some great topics in that. And I always say, like at the end of my videos, if any of you go Blu-ray hunting or DVD hunting this weekend, I hope you managed to pick up some bargains and that. Yeah, I hope to be back again anyway before next week with a couple more reviews and that. So I've enjoyed it, guys. Yeah. So have a nice weekend. Take care of yourselves, and all going well. I'll be back again, same time, same place with another Let's Talk Horror live stream. Take care. Bye. Bye.